Yuji is finally awakened and is confirmed to have surpassed Gojo in JJK 256. This chapter was beyond insane. Yuji hit a black flash on Sukuna and was using blood manipulation to a high level against him. Not only that, but we see Yuji's eyes. He actually has the demon eyes, the same as Ryomen Sukuna's, as the narrator confirms that Itadori Yuji has awakened after hitting a black flash and will proceed to hit many more after this. This was insane, and he may actually have Sukuna's curse technique right now. Let's get right into this absolute crazy chapter. So be sure to leave a like, it helps out a ton, thank you. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. Less than 10% of people who actually watch my videos are subscribed, so if you love JJK, I promise you won't regret subscribing. And of course, thank you to these special grade members of the channel. Let us get right into this. This chapter was beyond insane. I don't even know what to say, it was that crazy. So yes, the narrator confirms it that Yuji has both surpassed Gojo and he's actually awakened. Whatever this awakening means, we will get into that right now, since we do see his eyes change and they go back to how he was whenever Sukuna took over his body. He's got the same eyes as Ryomen Sukuna, which could imply so many things right now, but let's go through this one by one. So the first thing is Yuji surpassing Gojo. What does this mean? Well, the narrator straight up says that yes, Yuji will surpass Gojo at least by the time the series ends in terms of how many black flashes someone's actually hit. He will break Gojo's record because there's two separate records. Naname holds the record for hitting the most consecutive black flashes, but the person who's actually hit the most total is Gojo, and the narrator says that Yuji will actually break this record in the future. Basically, the narrator is straight up telling us that Yuji is about to go on a black flash rampage. So he's already hit his first one on Ryomen Sukuna, which was absolutely insane, by the way, because his black flash was far bigger than any of even Sukuna's or even Gojo's. His lightning was sharper than theirs, way more than theirs. I mean, far more. The volume was insane and far bigger. Yuji's black flashes for some reason seem to be special. Maybe he's more focused. I don't know why his is so different compared to all the other characters, or maybe it's just a stylistic choice and GEGE is choosing to just draw more black lines for Yuji and it doesn't actually mean anything in a power scaling way. He just wants Yuji's to look better because he's the MC, but still, the fact that he has hit his first and he is going to hit many more, and the fact that he's confirmed to at least surpass Gojo in this way, or at least he will do in the future, is what the narrator is talking about. The narrator is implying the future he will do this, and it's actually talking about a very short future, so that's going to happen very soon. But something even crazier than that, the narrator says that Yuji has awakened, and again, we see his eyes, as you can see on the screen here. His eyes are just like Sukuna's when Sukuna was in his body. And quickly, shout out to Crane Art as well on Twitter for letting me use his art. He's the one who drew a lot of the art you see in this video, so please check him out in the description. Very talented artist. But what does this actually imply? What does the narrator mean by awaken? This could very well mean many things, and looking at his eyes, this probably means that Yuji's about to use Sukuna's curse technique. And this goes back to something Gojo said a long time ago about Yuji, how he actually said Yuji will awaken Sukuna's curse technique and it will actually be embedded into his body. It seems like that time is now. Now, for what reason it seems that Yuji's just now awakening Sukuna's curse technique? It could be something else, which I'll talk about, but for now, I'll just be talking about the theory that Yuji's actually awakened Sukuna's curse technique. It could be because he's made so much contact with Sukuna right now, you know, ever since Sukuna's left his body, he hasn't had that much interaction with Sukuna, beside the one time he fought him, but maybe because just now recently, you know, he's been actually fighting Sukuna so much, he's been landing so many hits on him. We know at the beginning of the time skip, Yuji said, I'm just like a Sukuna finger because I'm soaked in his own cursed energy. It could be possible that because he's like a Sukuna finger, because he's shrouded in Sukuna's cursed energy, it actually took direct contact with Sukuna, you know, a lot of direct contact with Sukuna's own cursed energy, the original, and it actually triggered an awakening with Yuji. That would make sense why it's after the black flash that this awakening actually took place, and it makes sense that the reason he actually awakens it during a black flash, because a black flash is a time when you have your absolute peak of focus. We've seen this before with many characters such as Nobita when her focus was heightened to a crazy extent, so maybe this is why Yuji is actually awakening his true inner potential right now. He is so focused, he is so in the zone after hitting the black flash that he was able to awaken Sukuna's curse technique that was actually inside of him deep down. Now, it's possible that this isn't Sukuna's curse technique, and maybe the reason his eyes actually look like Sukuna's is because he's actually getting close to it, so maybe we won't get Sukuna's curse technique next chapter, but it could be something that we're starting to lead into, and this is the first step of many about how Yuji's actually going to become just like Sukuna. You know, the parallels with him and Sukuna, there's such a deep connection between there, and it'd be very poetic and ironic that to actually defeat Sukuna, Yuji will have to become just like Sukuna and slowly sort of morph into him, not in terms of personality, but just the body and that sort of thing to actually defeat him, which would be very cool if that were actually the case. But this awakening could also be a general sort of awakening, because we actually saw Yuji use blood manipulation in this chapter, and it's very weird because he used it to a high level because his piercing blood was able to damage Sukuna, so his technique is clearly on a high level, but his actual skill with it, you know, not the actual damage of it, isn't that high. Yuji, for whatever reason, can't use convergence, so Choso actually had to lend him some blood so that Yuji could fire off a piercing blood. What this awakening could mean is that Yuji could now use piercing blood at a very higher level than before. So maybe before all he could do was simply control blood to a very poor extent, but after this awakening, now that he's gotten stronger, and perhaps because his focus is going to go off the charts, he may actually be able to use blood manipulation to a higher level. And I want to touch upon the reason why both of these things were only possible after the Black Flash. We know that a Black Flash actually gives you a power up after you've hit it for the first time. You get a far deeper understanding of the core of cursed energy. You generally get a bigger buff. I mean, the first time Yuji hit it, he quite literally thinks, is this even my cursed energy? What's going on? Why am I so strong? And that was after he hit a Black Flash for the first time. And now, as far as we know, Yuji has never hit a Black Flash after getting blood manipulation and after Sukuna's left his body. It's possible that only after those things had happened, and now that he's hit his first Black Flash after those things have taken place, it's now going to buff those new power-ups that he's gone because he's never actually hit a Black Flash with them before. So what that means is that now that he's hit a Black Flash with having blood manipulation, and after Sukuna's gone, and after Sukuna's actually left his body, now that may actually trigger the core of cursed energy inside of him and may give him a deeper understanding of both himself and his own cursed energy to take him to a completely different level. And we know from what the narrator said that Yuji's going to hit more Black Flashes right now. So what that could mean is that Yuji is just going to get stronger and stronger and go deeper into the core of cursed energy and get a better understanding, and it may lead him to becoming a absolute beast, both in terms of blood manipulation, or at least with him actually having Sukuna's curse technique. It's going to be one of those two. It's always possible that it's just going to make him generally stronger, and this awakening, all it's actually referring to is just him hitting more Black Flashes, and he may actually become someone who can just hit Black Flashes at will. And this would tie to basically what we saw in the beginning of the chapter, how even Gojo was saying, even I am not someone who can hit Black Flashes at will. It just depends on so many different factors, and it's also just based off of luck. But Yuji may be the first person in history who can actually consecutively hit Black Flashes at will and basically do it at his control, because as far as we know, no other character in the series can do this. And if Sukuna could do that, he would be hitting Black Flash with every single one of his punches. He never did it against Gojo, and Sukuna's only doing it because he's now getting in the zone, just like Gojo was. You know, we saw Gojo hit consecutive Black Flashes on Mahoraga, Agito, and Sukuna. That's what's happening to Sukuna right now. Yuji may be the very first person to hit Black Flashes at will whenever he wants to, and this has been a theory that's been in the fanbase for quite a long time. It's one of the oldest and original power-up theories for Yuji. This has been around forever, so it wouldn't be that surprising if that's the case, but I will say it's the most boring answer, and it would be quite a disappointing way for the narrator to end off the chapter saying, wow, Yuji Itadori has awakened. You know, Yuji's going to be on this whole other level, and all it is him being able to hit Black Flashes at will, which, you know, is pretty cool, but just considering all of the other possibilities, I mean, we could see Yuji using blood manipulation to a crazy extent. His eyes look just like Sukuna's, as I've been saying before, so maybe Yuji's actually going to be able to use Sukuna's curse techniques, and this may be the way that we actually get to see someone use the flame, someone use Fuga or open. Now that we see Yuji's eyes are actually glowing just like Sukuna's, he may actually awaken the flames, maybe even by accident, and fire off at Sukuna, and that may force Sukuna to actually use the flames himself, and he may finally actually pique interest in Yuji, and that would just be incredible. I mean, there's all these theories. Again, it's one of my oldest theories on the channel, how flames are actually Yuji's curse technique, or the flames are just something that any sorcerer could do if they could just open their black box, but it's just the case that no one is able to do it. Maybe Yuji actually awakening and him getting the same ring eyes as Sukuna, he may gain the insight or the knowledge to actually open, because again, it did happen in Yuji's own body. Sukuna did open the black box with Yuji's own brain, so it could very well be possible that Yuji could also do the same thing in the future, and Yuji may actually pull out the flames, and we finally may get the flames versus the flames, something that a lot of people have been waiting for, and something that would be awesome. Or we could actually get Cleaviness Mantle versus Cleaviness Mantle. Now, we did actually see Yuta use Cleaviness Mantle against Sukuna, but he wasn't using it to a crazy level. It would be very cool to see Yuji actually use it, and Yuji using it to a higher level and using it as a primary weapon. It would be very awesome to see Cleaviness Mantle clash. I mean, I wonder what sound that would even make if that were to actually happen in the series. The final theory I want to touch upon is Yuji awakening could actually imply that Yuji is about to pull out a domain expansion right here, right now. It's possible that now that he's hit the Black Flash, he's really getting into the zone, he's really feeling it, and we do know he has a curse technique. At the absolute bare minimum, the blood manipulation is a curse technique, though it's likely the soul manipulation thing that he's doing isn't a curse technique. That's likely just a technique, you know, a normal technique that Yuji's able to do because he has such a great understanding of the soul, so that might be, you know, what that is. So he may not be able to do a soul domain expansion, but at the very least, he has the potential to do a blood domain expansion, or even a domain expansion of Sukuna's, you know, the ancient theories of Benevolent Shrine versus Malevolent Shrine. Maybe we could actually get to see that if he's awakened Sukuna's curse technique, or it's possible it could just be a soul-related domain expansion where he could fully go deep into Megumi and Sukuna's soul, and maybe even transfer his own consciousness into theirs with this domain expansion. The possibilities are endless, and man, this chapter was crazy. I absolutely loved it. But hey, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, it helps out a ton, thank you. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. Like I said in the beginning, less than 10 10% of people actually watch my videos are subscribed. So if you love JJK, I promise you won't get subscribing. And of course, thank you to all the members of the channel. It is always much appreciated, guys. Thank you very much. That's all from me. Have a great day and take care.